Hello students, in the previous video we have learned about overpopulation and underpopulation, in which we have collected a bit idea about migration, which is an important factors of overpopulation, of change in population. In today's topic we'll be discussing about migration and what is it, different types as well. So migration is the movement of people from one geographical unit to the other as a result of push factors and pull factors. And the people who moves from one place to the other place, they are known as migrants. Okay, so what are the push factors and pull factors we'll be discussing now. So push factors are also known as negative factors, and these factors forces the people to leave their places. So the first factor is conflict or war. So conflict or war is an important negative factor which forces the people to leave their country. So any kind of war, it can be a civil war or it can be a war between the countries, which results the people to move to the other countries. Now the other factor is lack of job opportunities. So any kind of job crisis in any country will force the people to move in other country so that they can get better earnings, like people migrating from India to Canada. Now the cultural discrimination is also one of the important push factor or the negative factors. So generally in any country, if there is any kind of discrimination based on culture or based on racism, people, in order to avoid that cultural discrimination, people leave their country and go to such a place where cultural discrimination is not done. Okay, the next push factor or the negative factor is the natural disaster. Now natural disaster can be in the form of drought, famine, earthquake, any kind of natural disaster due to which people are forced to leave their country and settle in the other countries. Okay, now the last push factor is unstable government. If the ruling government is not stable, so there will be a number of fights, quarrels between the locals, and the law and order will not be maintained, and in whole country or maybe in the region there will be a dispute, fight. So in order to avoid that, people will migrate to the other place or to the other region of the world. Now we'll discuss about the pull factors, or also known as positive factors. These factors attract the people to their country due to some better job and economic opportunities. So in order to get better job and economic opportunities in the destination country, people migrate to that particular nations, like people from India migrating to USA in order to get better job. Now the next positive factor or the pull factor is better living standard. Now people, to attain better living standard, they migrate to the developed countries, like people migrating from our country, India, people migrate from Bangladesh to have a better life standard in foreign countries, more developed countries. Next topic is better medical care. So especially in less developed countries, the medical care facilities is not good. To attain better medical facilities, they want to migrate to the foreign countries or in the developed countries.
Now the next pull factor or the positive factor is quality education. Most of the people throughout the world migrate to different other countries for getting quality education. For example, the Indians students migrating to USA for getting higher education, for getting quality educations. And the last but not the least, the economic and social factor or social security is also a positive factor or the pull factors that attracts people from throughout the world. Like if any country is having economic and social security, the rate of crime is less in the country. Economically that country is more safe, then people wants to come in that particular country and live there. So we'll see what are the different types of migration now. Now there are different types of migration. First we'll start with immigration and emigration. So you are well familiar with these terms, emigration and immigration. So immigration means people coming to your country, to our country, and emigration means people moving out of our countries. Okay, Now the second type of migration is rural urban migration, which involves the movement of people from rural area to the urban area of the same country. So this type of migration is termed as internal migration. Okay, people migrate to urban areas because of several push and pull factors. Okay. Due to expansion of the towns and cities, the rural people migrate to the urban areas, increasing urbanization. And the third one is urban to urban migration. Now urban to urban migration involves movement of people from one urban areas to the another urban areas of the same countries. Like people migrate from Kolkata to Mumbai, or from Mumbai to Nashik. Okay, from one city to the another city, or from one urban area to the another urban areas. Now the fourth type of migration is intercontinental migration. Now in this type of migration, the movement of people take place across the continent, like from Korea, which is in Asia, to Brazil, which is in South America. Okay, so if the movement of the movement take place in the same continent, we call it as intracontinental migration. And lastly, we have regional or internal migration. What is regional migration? Sometimes people migrate from one place to the other within the same region or the country itself. So this type of migration is known as regional migration or internal migration. So that means people moving within the country itself, from one state to the another state of India, like Kerala to Tamil Nadu, maybe from Mumbai, maybe from Uttar Pradesh to the West Bengal. Okay, such movement is also known as regional migration or internal migration. There are two more types of migration, that is forced migration or involuntary migration, then return migration. Forced migration are those type of migration in which government or the authorities of a place forces people to migrate. They compel the people to migrate in the other countries. And lastly, we have return migration. In this type of migration, the migrant voluntarily return from their original place after they outlive the reason for which they left. Means once their work is completed, they return back. Like many young people who moves into the city to work, return home when they retire to spend the rest of their lives in quiet of their towns and with old friends. So hope you have understood with the concept of migration. Rest topic we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you all of you.